Transformer fans. Once again, it's the one and only Optibotimus coming at you with another video review. And on today's episode, thanks to all of the contributions from my Optibotimus Plus channel members, specifically Andy Anderson, we're going to be taking a look at the new Transformers Kingdom Deluxe Class Waspinator. A fan favorite character that we all now know never appeared in the War for Cybertron trilogy, which is definitely unfortunate, but I love the fact that we're still getting the toy. For the package, absolutely gorgeous art here. As always, we have the Transformers text, generation logo, little tiny open window that showcases him from about the waist up, and then gorgeous art. I love it. You can see him in his Wasp mode, his robot mode. Very, very cool looking. Although, there you go. Let's put it in focus so that you can actually see what's going on. When you come around here to the side, you do have that gorgeous Kingdom art. And then you come around to the back, and of course you got him in his Wasp and his robot mode. Very standard for the packaging and everything, but really very nice nonetheless. So without further ado, let's get him out here and see how cool he actually is. And here we have Waspinator open up out of his packaging and obviously in his Wasp mode. Now, a lot of times, I've told you guys this before, there's a constant flux in my collection, where some figures come out, some figures come in, it's constantly moving. More often than not, though, that move is entirely predicated on if they come out with a new figure that I think is better than the previous one. And for the most part, the Kingdom figures in Earthrise, Siege, all of them, have done a real good job of replacing older figures. Waspinator here, though, is one of those ones when I saw it announced, I did sell my, I think it was like the Thrilling 30, I'm not entirely sure, but that old Deluxe Waspinator, because I knew this one was coming out. And truthfully, I kind of regret that. It's not that this is a bad figure. I still think that it looks really good. I just definitely think that that other one is better. As you can see, though, he is a giant wasp, which is crazy when you think about it, because here's a wasp, and then here's a Black Widow spider. I mean, I guess size-wise, these aren't terribly bad. Robot mode, they get really big. And then here is a scorpion. So, I mean, I guess you could kind of say that they're roughly in scale with one another. As long as you don't bring out, like, a car or something like that, they're okay. When you bring in, like, other ones like Dinobot or Rhinox or anything like that, they get a little bit weird. Or even Rat Trap, that's smaller than these, which, realistically, a rat would be bigger than all of these. But, you know, for comparison, there you got him. And like I said, I think that he's okay. He certainly is a very chunky looking guy. I mean, you can see a lot of kind of junk right up here. I just, like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of him. In general, he looks good, but I do think that this is a kind of step back from that previous one. Great. I love the fact that you can kind of see through these wings, but also not kind of see. It's a little bit cloudy. I really like that. That's cool. Gorgeous paint on here. Very nice metallic purple here for the eyes. And then again, even with the eyes, if I come in, let me keep it in the light, you can really see a real nice texture in the eyes as well. You can see that it's very insect looking. That's really very cool with the different actual texture right there. Head sculpt looks phenomenal. You can articulate the mouth a little bit. It's kind of tricky to do because it wants to split the rest of his head, as that's kind of the part of the transformation, but you can do something like that. So, I mean, there's good elements to them, and then there's, you know, some other ones. I mean, like the back section here with the like sting and everything, that looks pretty good. The wings, I think, look good, although you are kind of stuck with them just kind of straight up like that. And they're on ball joints, so you can kind of move them around, but it's not in a real, I don't know, like, I mean, I guess you can put them out to the side and Waspinator. Yeah, you knew I was going to do that terrible impression. These little bits right here are on little swivel sections, so you can rotate these around. The legs I'm also not a real big fan of. They're kind of right there, but they come into more of a problematic sort of thing when you get to the beast mode. But in general, it's okay. I just, like, aesthetically, I don't like this area right there. I think that could definitely be better. But in general, he's solid. He's okay. when you compare it to the previous one, not so much. For the well, and then you do have weapon storage that you can kind of sort of see underneath. It's all up under here. I mean, can't really. I'll worry about that here in a bit. But transformation wise, we're going to pull this whole section away like that, and then this whole bit locks in to the back area here. So you kind of have to angle that down and then give that a good little. Well, there's his gun. It just plugs in there. Just kind of pull this away, and that gets in there really tight. So there we go. Pop that out, and then you want to rotate this all the way around like so, and that's going to come up, and we'll fiddle with that here in a bit. That all spun around. These little arm sections here, you want to kind of pull this away from the side. Let's see here. Get that. There we go. Let's do that. Now that's like really tabbed in there. There you go. Pull that out. Pull that out. This is going to swing out to the side like so. Rotate that around. You can fiddle with these arms here in a bit, just to kind of get them where you're going to need them to be. When you pull this up, that's going to reveal his beast head. Let's see, get that all the way here. Let's finish these legs up. Bring that. There we go. Bring that. There you go. And then these, yeah, see, like these just kind of rotate these all the way around. Kind of push them down there. This section here. This does not like staying locked in. It kind of slots right there and then just sits there. But it's definitely loose on mine, so that's very unfortunate. This whole section is going to hinge back. You can spread these little insect bits out to the side and then slot this in. You got little tabs here that you have to line everything up. So right here at the shoulder area, just kind of push that in. That's going to detach that as it always does. Kind of keep that out to the side. You can play with these wings kind of how you want. I'm not a big fan of the way that the wings lay here. And then rotate all of this. That's the wrong way. Bring that. Come on. Get that. There we go. Yeah, let's see. And what is happening? Do I have that backwards? Yeah, I have that backwards over here. Then rotate his fists. Transformation is super simple, albeit a little bit fiddly to do. It's not terribly bad, and like I said, things don't like staying locked into place so much. But when you're done, get that all situated. There you have Waspinator in his robot mode, and again, good attempt. But I definitely feel like the previous version does shine in terms of the overall execution of the toy. And, you know, in general, he looks decent. But there is a lot of stuff that I really do not like with the way that this guy has been done. The biggest thing that I think really annoys me is just how much stuff kind of juts out from him. I'm like, you got these legs over here. Again, I think that the previous generation one did a much better job of kind of just getting those things out of the way. These are just there, and you're constantly trying to maneuver around them. It's really annoying. So everything just kind of juts out. You also have his wings right here. It's a little bit, I mean, I would prefer to put them down like this, but again, now you got a whole lot more junk there. But that keeps him out of the way, which makes him look like he's a pretty butterfly, and I don't know how I feel about that with Waspinator. You do have his weapon. You can have him hold it fairly decently. Just plugs in here to the back thing. Otherwise, it leaves a giant hole right there, which is weird. You could put that right back there. I'm going to do that for right now. Again, color-wise, looks good. The head sculpt is amazing on this guy. Let me come in so you can see that. I love that head sculpt. It's absolutely gorgeous. Really one of the best aspects of this toy. And the color with the eyes and everything looks really good there. It's just the rest of the body just gets to be a cumbersome mess, and I'm not the biggest fan of it. Now, you can move these around, I mean, but, like, you move that over there, it's just gonna, yeah, it's just, I don't know. It is what it is. So, for some comparisons, let's get him standing up decently. Here he is. Here are some of his fellow Predacons. Here we have him with Scorponok. As you can see, insects, so they scale pretty decently together. And then, of course, here is Black Arachnia. So get her in there. So again, all sorts of different bugs. There's a lot of bugs. I mean, hell, the only real, like, non-bug is going to be Megatron for the most part. Sending that there. Speaking of good old man. See, and the feet thing here, it's you can kind of see he's a little bit wobbly. So let's get him there, and here he is with the Megatron, and obviously big size difference. Let's turn his head so he's looking at the camera. So there he is. In general, I mean, I think that the scale works really good. Obviously, a T-Rex is going to be immensely bigger than a Scorpion or a Wasp, or obviously, or a Black Widow Spider. So scale-wise is pretty decent. The rest of the detail on the guy does look really good. I just, like I said, I do not like how they got these arms. He's got these, stringy poop nipples. I don't even know. I mean, it's like brown. They're coming. It is what it is. Articulation-wise, the head is on a ball joint, so you can rotate that around decently. You have swivels and hinges at the shoulder. You have a rotation right there at the bicep, a hinge at the elbow. You can see that that's kind of part of the transformation. You do have a waist swivel, which is nice, or wrist swivel. Speaking of the waist swivel, he does have one, but again, stuff is kind of there, and I do not like how this, like, does not really stay. I mean, it barely frictions there, like, very barely. It's there, but when you move things around, it kind of just, like, dislodges a little bit. You do have a, now what is that? A universal joint there at the hips. You do have a swivel here, but it tends to kind of pop out for the most part, which I guess that makes sense because it's Waspinator. Oh, there we go. It's Waspinator. So, oh no! That what was that? The Waspinator does not like it when you pull my arms off. Put that back on there. There we go. You do have the hinge here at the knee. You have ankle tilt, and then because of the way that the foot is designed, you also do get some articulation there as well. Not really good for posability purposes, but the articulation is built in. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a figure that I'm a bit disappointed in. And like I said, in this, it just looks like, I am a beautiful butterfly. Or, oh no, that's the, I am a beautiful butterfly. If you guys get that reference, I'm impressed with you. But there he is. There's your look at Waspinator. It's not bad. I definitely think that he could be better, just for the most part, but I still stand by the fact that I think that that previous generation one is a superior figure. And now in hindsight, I kind of wish I didn't get rid of that one yet. Now, transformation back. First, what you're going to want to do is pull the torso bit here away from the back. He'll probably end up collapsing that. Just give that a good... Oops. Pull that away. It's Waspinator. What are you going to do? So separate that piece and hinge it out like that. Obviously, as you can see, you're probably going to collapse that. Rotate these little bits around. Get that kind of out of the way. And you got a little tiny tab section right there. That's going to plug into a little slot right before the head area. Just kind of bring that up and around. Cover his little robot head and just kind of sit it just like that. Come around here to the underside. Let's put that wing back on there because we don't want Waspinator falling apart. There we go. Now, this part does get a little bit tricky. You want to hinge these in like so, and then rotate at the upper part of the bicep so that the insect leg is facing outward. Do that on both sides, and then take the fists and rotate that so the back of the hand is facing down. You're going to kind of keep it just like so. And then you got on the inside here, not the little bar section right there that sticks out a little further, there's a little round nub. That is going to tab in to a little round section right there in his abdomen. It's a little bit tricky. Just bend him at the elbow and just kind of move that around. It's hard to see. just kind of move that around until you feel that lock in. There we go. Bring that around. Do the same thing on this side. Kind of push that in there. Yeah, that was much easier. And then you're going to create this little bar section. It doesn't lock together or anything. It just literally just sits there. But you're going to need that here in a second. Then take this, pull his legs away, and then rotate there. And then bring this back section up. Pushing that. There we go. Come on. Get that locked into place. There we go. Then bring these legs up here, kind of filling in the little abdomen section. Take the feet, tuck those in, and then you got this little, it doesn't really lock anywhere, but it just kind of sits right there. It almost feels like it should be kind of like a mushroom thing to lock it into place, but it doesn't do anything, which is definitely unfortunate. Get these wings out of the way, and then you can bring these insect legs down, just getting that out of the way like so. But when you have them connected kind of here, if you can kind of do it, you're going to see like this little rail section right there. That's going to go up in friction between that bar. That's what kind of holds everything together. So just hinge all that down, and you'll feel it kind of grab in there. It just kind of sits along that side. And then kind of still holding these together, just push this section up like that. Get that as closed up as possible. And then you're just going to angle these little insect legs kind of around, getting those positioned as realistic looking as possible. You can take the head, kind of position that, kind of collapse that down, straighten out these antennas, straighten out the little wing bits here, and then when you're done, there you have Waspinator back in his insect mode. But there you go, guys, my look at the new Transformers Kingdom Deluxe class Waspinator. All in all, it's not a bad figure, but as I've said time and time again, for me, in order to replace a character on my shelf, the newest figure has to be better than the previous one. And honestly, I do not think that this guy is better than that previous generation's one. It obviously still works perfectly fine, and despite the fact that I do like that one better, unfortunately for me, this is the one that's going to have to be in my shelf because I jumped the gun a little bit early and I sold that previous one. So I'm going to have to get used to it for the most part. Insect mode, I think looks okay. I don't really like the big area right here. I think that kind of looks a little bit ugly for the most part. Transformation is okay. It's fairly simplistic. Does get a little bit fiddly in some areas, and I do wish some areas like there at the bottom actually tabbed in a little bit better. And while the robot mode looks pretty good, there are some aspects about it that do kind of make me not enjoy it all that much, mostly in the way that they did these legs. There's just a lot of junk hanging off of them, and it kind of makes them a little frustrating to kind of move around. So for the most part, I would say he's an average figure. Definitely not one that I would, stress out about trying to get. If you see him on the store shelves and you're a fan of the character, I would pick him up. I mean, hell, it's still Waspinator. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. To all of you out there that are able to help support the channel by being a channel member, I say thank you. And remember that the real trouble with the world is that too many people grow up. Thank you all for watching and taking the time to be a kid.